Hey everyone, and I guess Happy New Year. So this is actually my first video of 2021, even though we're already approaching the end of January. Been pretty quiet on the YouTube front lately. I wanted to do some sort of video where I kind of summarise 2020, but I struggled with it massively, and it's part of the reason why I haven't uploaded. Putting some sort of montage together and being like, look how amazing 2020 was, just didn't feel right, because obviously as we all know, 2020 wasn't that amazing. I didn't do lots of fun things, and to be honest, I didn't achieve a lot. But that's okay, because 2020 definitely was not a normal year. So yeah, I decided to scrap that idea and kind of just strip it back a bit and just have a good old chat. I remember being really excited about 2020 and the start of a new year. I was actually fortunate to spend New Year in Brussels in Belgium. It was the first time me and Josh had ever actually done anything properly for the new year, which obviously now seems like a bit of a waste, celebrating entering 2020. But yeah, it was honestly like such an amazing trip. I really fell in love with Belgium. The sights were great, the food was great. It was honestly such a lovely trip and a nice way to start the year. But that ended up being the only time I left the country in 2020. After coming back from Brussels, January and February were pretty normal. I got to go to some great theatre shows. So I got to see the Book of Mormon and I got to see Come From Away, which were both amazing. I got to see Michael McIntyre yet again. I went to the filming of his Netflix show, spent some of kind of January, February time just going to local events and going on lots of days out kind of in and around Bristol. I also spent a lot of time like catching up with friends and going on like nights out and stuff. It was all pretty normal. And then March hit and just like everything for the rest of the year went completely out the window. I'm not going to spend the rest of this video complaining about the shit show that was the rest of the year. It didn't go to plan, we all know that. But the reason I want to do a video about 2020 and why I want to talk about 2020 is because I feel like the year was so important for other reasons. It was such a different year. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. Even though it's an absolutely awful situation, I feel like I learned a lot from this year, and I feel like it's really made me appreciate the small things. Like this year's just made me realise like how lucky I am to be like happy and to be healthy and know all like my friends and family are healthy. At the moment I feel so fortunate even just to have a job, and even more than that, to have a job that has allowed me to work from home, so I've still been able to work through this mad time. And even when I was furloughed for a little bit, it only actually ended up being 3 weeks, whereas there's some people that haven't been able to work for like the majority of 2020. Just having a job, I feel, is something that I would just usually take for granted. 2020 also kind of reminded me how beautiful Bristol is and how I just absolutely love living here. Majority of 2020 was just spent going on local walks in and around Bristol. And there's so many places that like I've visited in the past, like when I first moved to Bristol, that I just haven't been to in like years, and it's just reminded me of all those kind of hidden gems that there are in Bristol, and like I just absolutely love living here. This year has just reminded me how beautiful the UK is in general. On the few occasions we were able to get away, it was always in the UK this year. That wasn't really a bad thing, to be honest. It really reminded me how like you don't always just have to leave the country to see some incredible sights. There's so many incredible sights in the UK basically on your doorstep that you totally should forget about. I've honestly never had so much time for myself as what I did in 2020, and I just found myself doing a lot more stuff just for me. I actually did like a lot more baking, which is not something I'm good at and not something I do a lot of, but that was fun. I got more back into reading. I read the most books I've ever read in a year. Spent a lot of time focusing on learning French. I did a lot of walking. I'm always a big walker anyway, but this year more so. We were always just out for local walks all the time, just to get out and get some fresh air and find something to do. I also stepped my game up massively with running. I'm someone that has only started running in the past couple of years. I used to absolutely hate it. Never thought I would be someone who would be a runner. But having all that kind of extra time for myself this year, I've really improved in running, and I actually managed to run 10k, which a year ago just seems absolutely an insane amount. We also got a Switch in 2020. I haven't had the time to play games since I was a kid. Now like me and Josh are always like playing it together, and it's just so much fun. And I've obviously got Animal Crossing and I've spent half my life on that since. I also had more time to work on my YouTube videos. I'm never someone who is consistent with YouTube, but I actually did manage to upload a lot more in 2020 than what I had in previous years, so that was good. In 2020 I even just found myself just sitting and doing absolutely nothing, like chilling out in the sun, for example. And I am honestly not someone who normally enjoys that or can sit still for longer than 5 minutes. So yeah, this year just really made me realise how nice it is just to do things for yourself and just focus on self-care. And remember that it's okay to not be constantly being productive and achieving amazing things. Even the little personal achievements are like so important. I think the thing I've been the most grateful about this year is just my amazing support network of family and friends. They're the ones that have kept me going through this year, even if like the only contact we've had is through like Zoom or from like 2 meters away. I'm especially thankful for Josh. We've pretty much spent the entirety of this year together. We got through the lockdowns together, we've been working from home together. Even Christmas for us was just the 2 of us, and I honestly would not have stayed sane without him. He's been an absolute rock. So yeah, 2020 wasn't the year we all hoped for, and of course like I will be glad to see the back of it in some ways. I think I need to remember that it wasn't all bad, there were good bits in there. So now we're in 2021, we're currently in a lockdown, so nothing has really changed from 2020. Honestly, this is the first year in a long time I've just gone into it with absolutely no expectations and no plans or anything. I of course have like a few personal goals for the year. In a normal case I would like talk about it in a video. I feel like this year there's no point putting too much pressure on yourself to achieve anything, because as we've learned in the last year, anything can happen. Your plans can go completely out the window, your goals can completely change. However, I do have quite a lot planned for my YouTube this year, partly why I've kind of been quiet the last couple months. I've kind of been using the time to take stock of where my YouTube is and kind of think of what I want to do in the next year. I'm also kind of in the process of like redesigning my channel. I'm going to change all my thumbnails up, my channel banner, all that sort of stuff. And I just want to make my videos of better quality. So I'm currently working on like a new filming setup. So Josh got me some lights for Christmas. So no more sitting on the floor because the lamps have the best lighting in the house. I've also been reorganising my office space. So I'm looking to have much better backdrop for my videos instead of this. I'm really excited to kind of get stuck into YouTube this year. Stay tuned. I will have some videos coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall speak to you in the next video.